What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mulder Live podcast. We are live and we are back, guys. It is so happy to be here, and thank you for tuning in this week, guys. We are here in the 2025 podcast season. What is going on, everybody? Gene Martin, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for being here. Bennett Landscaping, what's going on? Breck Shred, what's up, man? Top Rock Design Landscaping, what's going on? Amborn Stone, here for the giveaways. Oh, man, I hope you guys are doing great. It has been a long time since I have been on the podcast here, and I am very thankful to be back and thankful to be with all of you. I'm trying a couple different things tonight. I'm trying to film. I'm filming this for YouTube. I just decided to do this on a whim about 10 minutes ago. So we're going to film it for YouTube and upload this as well. But also it will be recorded like it always is and then uploaded this coming Wednesday. T. Coffin, what's going on? DeLuro Brothers Contracting, what's going on? Thanks for being here tonight. So big shout out to our sponsors, CMP Attachments, cmpattachments.com. They are no stranger to the Mulder Life podcast. So I'm thankful for their partnership in going into the 2025 podcast season here. I really appreciate them. And also Synced Up project management software. Know your numbers, cut estimating time in half, or cut it by 90%. And actually make a profit. So, big shout out to Synced Up for being a sponsor and a big supporter of the Mulder Life podcast. I really couldn't do it without them. So, Johnston Construction said, "What's your brunt code?" My brunt code for brunt workwear is Mulder Outdoors 10, and you can get $10 off your purchase. So, thanks for asking about that. If you look all the way down by my feet here, I have brunts on. So. Guys, it's good to be back here. We're going to take questions like we do every single week. If you're new to the podcast, this is a live format podcast, and it is where we take your questions live. So if you have questions about anything, landscaping, equipment, business, life, whatever you want to talk about, that's what we talk about here. So, it can be whatever. And sometimes we talk about what we got going on at my work. Sometimes we talk about problems that people have with job sites, or literally questions about anything. It could be technical questions. It could be business ethics questions. Literally anything you want to talk about. That's what we do here. And I'm very thankful to be doing this now for the third or fourth season now. This is, I think, our third podcast season, maybe fourth. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but I'm here and I'm excited to be here with you guys. Angel Velasquez, what's going on? Says, how is hiring going? Any applicants? So great question. I have been trying to hire for, oh man, it feels like going on a year now. How is it going? I don't know. It's not going that well. We've had an ad on Indeed for the last, how long have we had the ad going? I don't know, 6 weeks, maybe less than that. No. Maybe like 4 or 5 weeks. I don't know. So I got a lot of applicants applying, but it's weird. It's like I can't get people to respond when I message them about their application. So, I'll have somebody that sends me their resume and application, and I'm, interested in talking with them. And so then I'll send them, there's like a messenger feature on the, part of Indeed, right? And so I will message them on there and then nothing. Or I've had it where I messaged them, we talked a little bit, and then I say, hey, why don't we jump on a phone call and we'll talk? gone, like literally nothing. Like I had 50 people apply, and now I didn't contact every one of them. There's probably 5 of them that I was relatively interested in talking to, but they literally just ghost me. And I've heard people have good success with Indeed, but I am not having good success. There was one of them that I was really interested in. I messaged him. I called him twice. I left a message, and I've never heard from him again. I don't know. It's very frustrating. I've had some interviews locally, none of which have panned out to this point, but we are still looking for a hardscape and landscape foreman, somebody that wants to grow with us, somebody that has skills, somebody that has experience, somebody that wants to eventually move into a project manager role as I train them. There's lots of potential for growth within our company, and with that comes responsibility and a good pay, a good compensation package and benefits. And this is not like, your $10 an hour position. This is like a real deal position. You're going to be held accountable to produce, but you also have to have a lot of skills to be able to get the job. So I don't know. It's been, frankly, kind of disheartening. And, but you know what? I'm not a quitter, right? We're going to keep going, and we just keep trying, and that's the best that we can do. So, I'm just looking at the questions here. I'm going to keep advertising before I get to the questions. I'm going to keep advertising on my social media, and I'm going to keep the ad on Indeed for, I think, another month. I'm going to keep trying there. If we don't get anybody that will actually respond to me there, then I got to pay for that. I know there's a free portion of it. I think there is, but we've been doing the paid part of it, and to try and get more traffic. And like I said, I had some good applicants that I thought looked promising and that I wanted to talk to further, but you can't talk to anybody. So I don't know. It is what it is, right? So, but if anybody's listening out there and wants to apply for the position, feel free to let me know. We got a lot of work coming, and we have a great team right now, and we're just looking to add to that team. So very thankful for the guys that we do have working for us now. Bjornson Magnus, what's going on? I said, are you planning any demonstration builds at your new property? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Are you talking about like training classes and stuff at our new property? If so, I'm definitely open to that. I haven't thought about what that would look like. Frankly, I mean, we can talk about the building update. There's lots to talk about with that if anybody wants to hear about that. But once the building is up and we're moved in and stuff, then I potentially will open it up to classes or some kind of, if people are interested in doing something like that, I might consider that. So Johnson Construction says, any big projects this year? I hope so. I am in the process of, I don't know if you guys could let me know, is it as blurry as it's on my screen right here? I'm doing this a different way. I'm on Instagram on my computer, and I've never done this like this, but it looks really blurry. I hope it's not this blurry for you guys. Let me know if it is. And if the audio is good, I want to make sure that it sounds good. Nobody has said anything, but I want to check it. So again, I'm trying a couple new things. This isn't how I'm going to do this forever, but again, 10 minutes ago, I decided, why don't I try and film 2 different ways? So my camera setup that you guys can't see is kind of funny right now, but we're getting the job done. So Calcar says, good, looks good. Okay, awesome, man. Thanks, buddy. Hope you're doing good, man. Blue check mark on Calco Partners. Wow. Fancy, buddy. Sal, how do you get a blue check mark? You pay for that? I'm assuming you pay for that. What was that? Any big projects this year? So we're on one pretty big one right now that we're Thank you, Ann Bornstone. Good. Thank you. Splash of Life. Thanks, buddy. Glad to hear that's all good. Any big projects? So the one that we're on right now is a pretty darn big project. We started it last fall and we worked there until about Christmas time, and then we haven't been there since. I am hoping to get back there. We might start next week. I was waiting to see what the weather was going to do this week. It's supposed to rain tomorrow and Thursday, or tomorrow and Wednesday, I think. And then next week, it looks like it's well above freezing and into the 60s. I think I saw even like a 70 maybe. So it's go time, I think. So we're not going to start a ton of spring work yet. I don't like to mulch this early, and neither do my customers really. Because literally within 2 months, you're barely entering the summer and the mulch looks relatively old already. So, we probably won't start spring cleanup work until maybe mid to end of March. But we're going to get back on that hardscape job, and we'll be there for I don't know, maybe another 4, 5, 6 weeks, maybe. I don't know. I need to really think about that and make my schedule, but that's a big job. There's still half the pavers to go in around the pool deck. The pool coping is on. The rest of the pavers have to go in. We have irrigation to do. There's no lighting at this point. There's a little bit more drainage work to do. There's landscaping to do. There's sod to do. I got 10 big old Norway maples. What? Norway spruce that we're going to plant on a berm. I got some big boys coming in for that. Some big 12 to 14 footers. So I'm excited to plant those things. It's a beautiful job. There's a water feature that has to go in. Wink, wink. Splash of Life landscaping. There's like a pondless or a sphere, aquascape sphere water feature that we're going to put in there. So it's a really beautiful job. But then after that, we have we're actually going to be able to go back to a job that we did last year, a big pool job last year. It was that big remodel one that we did, and we're going to landscape the front of that house. So that's exciting. I love going back and doing more work. So, Breckshred, what did you miss? You missed everything. So I don't know why you left, but you missed it all, buddy. And you know what? You're just going to have to listen to this again. And then I had a meeting today with a big one that is hopefully start the walls in the summer and then go back in the fall and work on that probably until we can't work anymore. That's going to be sweet. Man, I was there today for 3 hours meeting with the customer, and it's going to be something, guys. So very excited for that, and more on that later. Let's see here. Henry Hood says, how should I go from only me working in the business, no employees, to running a whole crew? Worried about not having enough work to keep them busy full time. Thanks, Andy. Henry, that's a great question. And that's something that I think we've all gone through when we were starting our business. When I started my business, I started the business right away with an employee. I had been doing landscaping long enough to know that the projects that I wanted to do and what it took to do those projects, there was just no way I was going to be able to do that by myself. So I hired somebody the first day we were full-time in the business. I had an employee. How do you go from doing that? How do you're worried about having enough work, right? I've been in business for going on 11 years. This is the start of our 12th year, technically. And I still worry about having enough work. And I think that a lot of business owners can relate to that. I think that worry never goes away. Maybe it's just me, but I always am like, I need to have enough work. And Sorry, I want to write something down a minute. Something I don't want to forget. I don't know how you get away from that. I mean, it's a big responsibility having employees. And I think that's really important to remember. When you're hiring someone and you take them on, you take responsibility for their, they're looking to you for a job. They came to you for a job. They expect to be paid for the work that they're doing. And it's up to you to make sure that they get paid, number one. And number two, that you keep them working, right? That's probably my biggest weight that I carry day to day is the responsibility that I have to my team. I don't know if I could say like, how do you do it? I mean, you have to have enough work, right? And if you think you have enough work and you're not able to get the work done by yourself in a timely manner and move along, then it's probably time to hire someone. But again, you have to make sure that you have it set up right. Don't be paying them cash under the table. You need to get payroll set up. You have to do it right. Don't run your business out of your back pocket. So, and I also think it's important to have clear communication with your team. So for instance, in my business, when we started the business the first year, I was very clear with my employee, who, keep in mind, is still with me today, that we were not going to be able to guarantee work in the winter. So by us, we have a summer and winter, and we have a like an off season, if you will, going into the winter, of course. And I couldn't guarantee him work all winter. And so I had to communicate that. And it's very important that you communicate that. And you could also hire someone and say, hey, we're going to start, I'm looking for somebody part-time. And you can do that. And I will say, part-time positions in landscaping and hardscaping business, in this business, maintenance business even, part-time positions are so hard because our schedule is changing all the time. The weather affects everything. And it's just always changing. And so I've always had such a hard time with having part-time people. So I understand that. But if you're in the position where you need somebody sometimes, but not all the time, well, maybe you need to start with something part-time and tell the person, this may go to full-time, but I can't commit to that right now. Don't commit to something that you can't actually do. Because like I said, you have a big responsibility taking on an employee. And it doesn't matter. I don't think, I just saw Dan from Making Acres. He said that, I'm going to go out of order here. He said it's definitely the biggest responsibility for sure, having employees. And he's been in business for, Dan, I don't know, how long have you been in business? I'm going to guess 35 years. He's been in business a long time, and it's still the biggest responsibility, right? So just keep that in mind. And I'm not here to scare you, because employees are they're wonderful, but it's also the hardest part of owning your own business is the employees. It's always the people. But it's at the same time, it's the best part, right? You can have a good relationship with your team. You can pour into them. You can change their life. You can give them a job. You can, all of that. It's great, but it is the hardest part of running your business for sure. Dan just said 29 years. There you go. I wasn't that far off. So I hope that helps, but, how do you do it? I mean, I don't know. You just make sure you have enough work, and, if, I don't know, I guess like I don't know. I mean, you either have enough work or you don't. If you're just getting bombarded with work and you can't get it done, then it may be time to do it. I mean, there's only so many hours in a day, and, customers, if you have the work, it's coming in, I can assure you it's very hard to do landscaping and hardscaping work, by yourself. It's very, very hard. Not to mention it's rather unsafe. Brexford said he usually re-listens to the podcast anyway. So, well, that's good to hear, because I appreciate anybody that listens to the podcast and subscribes. Is it subscribes or follows the podcast, I would really appreciate everybody to follow the podcast on all your popular podcast platforms. It's great for the algorithms, or leave us a review. A 5-star review is really helpful too. So anybody that's willing to do that would be really great. Thank you. How big is the shop going to be? Oh wait, hold on, I missed one. Rush Creek Lawn Landscape said, following up on this, what helped you build the courage to take on the large hardscape projects? Oh man, I don't know. To say that I am not scared when we're doing some of these big jobs, especially in the beginning, I would be lying if I said that. I would be lying if I didn't, I've been in tears over some of these big jobs, different things that have gone on, worries that I have, unsure if we should do something a certain way. How is this thing going to turn out? Do we have enough time to do this? Just anything and everything you can imagine, I have worried about and thought about and stressed about. I will say we've done it rather gradually. So I guess that's the problem sometimes with social media, is like, you don't see, if you don't go back and look and say you haven't followed us for a while. We started out, the first hardscape job I ever did was a little 150, 200 square foot Holland stone herringbone front sidewalk. And I had to learn how to do a herringbone for the first time on that project. I kind of forgot about that. I had never done a herringbone in my life. Seriously. Where I used to work, we did not do hardly any pavers, and whenever we did, it was never a herringbone pattern. I had never done a herringbone pattern. That's really funny. I kind of forgot about that, but that is the truth. Anyways, and we've slowly built up from that. The next one from there, I remember, was like 1,000 square foot. It was a back patio and 100-foot long sidewalk to the back patio. And I think the job was the sidewalk was 4 foot by 100 foot. So 400 square feet. And then it was like 1,000 square feet. Again, Holland stone. I thought it was the biggest thing we'd ever do. I mean, it was crazy. I'd love to go back and see that. That project is really, you can't see it from the road, but I know exactly where it is, of course. But after that, I remember doing one that was like, it was a backyard patio. It was a raised patio with pillars. I had never done pillars before, and it had lighting in it. And I mean, just, it's one step at a time. It's little bits at a time. It's asking questions. It's going to classes. It's building relationships with your dealers and your vendor and your material reps, so you can ask questions, right? Don't be afraid to ask questions. I've never been afraid to ask questions, right? And networking and finding people that are kind and are willing to share information, and ask them. And when you ask them a question, shut up and listen to their answer. Don't talk over them. It's just built up over time. And then, it's just like, oh, well, we've done that before. We can do this now. And it just builds on itself. I don't go looking for the next biggest job. I really don't. These jobs have kind of found us. And because of that, now we've been able to keep finding some of these bigger jobs. And if you would have told me 5 years ago, even 6 years ago, even, that we were going to be doing these 6-month-long jobs or a year-long job or whatever we've been doing, the job we did we finished it last year. It went on for a year and a half, I feel like, on and off, and we're still doing stuff there. But anyways, that was 8,000 square feet of pavers. 4,000 square feet was inside of the house, and 4,000 square feet was outside of the house. Like, that's crazy. Like, how do I get the courage to do that? It's just more of the same thing. And it's how do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time. But that's what it is, right? We're not a big company. I don't tell the client it's going to be done in 2 weeks, right? You communicate, you tell them, if this is going to take a long time, it's complicated, it's complex, and it's going to take time, right? And I don't have like a golden answer for you. I think it just comes with time and experience and slowly building up to it. I don't think anybody should jump in within their first 2 or 3 years and do a giant job. I don't recommend that to anybody. I'm sure it happens, and maybe people have been successful at it, maybe they haven't. But I think with each job and each experience, you get better and better, and you get more and more courage. And it's okay to say no too. It's okay to say, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm thankful that you want us to do this job, but I just don't think this is the right fit for me right now at the stage we are in our company, and that's okay. If it's like that, or ask for help. Tell them that you have never done anything like this, but you're willing to try, and it's going to be your first time, but we're going to get it done. I also couldn't sit here and say that I haven't said, yeah, we can do that, when in the back of my head, I'm like, I've never done that before. I don't know how to do that. But I have said, yeah, we can get that done for you. No problem. So I've totally done that. But you got to deliver. I don't do something. I don't say something that I'm not going to do. I can assure you of that. And that's super important in business as a whole. If you say you're going to do something, you better do it. And I had a meeting today with a customer, and I don't remember how the conversation went, but I basically said there was concern about a part of the job that it wouldn't be very functional, or it would be really high maintenance if it wasn't done correctly. And I said to him, I said, well, I can assure you I'm going to do it correctly, because if I don't do it correctly, you're going to call me. And I can tell you right now, I'm not going anywhere. So it's in my best interest to do everything on this job correctly and to do it well. And that's why you're hiring me to do this job. And that's literally basically word for word of what I said. And it's important to do that with everything you do. I don't build things that I don't expect to be able to go back. I don't build something and then hope that they don't call me because I'm not going to answer, right? We build things in a way to where I will put my name on it. And if you call me with a problem, we're going to fix it, kind of a thing. Because I'm not planning on doing this for 2 years and then getting out, right? I think I'm kind of rambling here, but you guys know what I'm saying. So, Power Pro Electric Ltd. Sorry, I got that right. How big is the shop going to be? We are going to build a 60-foot by 150-foot building. It will have 18-foot tall walls, and it might have 20-foot tall walls. I actually just asked for a number on what it would cost to go from 18-foot to 20-foot tall walls. The reason that I am checking into that is because we're going to have a mezzanine above the office. And if we ever down the road want to do anything up there other than storage, it will be all storage right now. I thought it would be really nice to have the extra height up there. I don't need it in the rest of the shop, but I'm just going to find out how much it would cost to go from 18 to 20 foot. I don't know. Is it $5,000? Is it $2,000? Is it $30,000? So I don't know what my threshold would be for like what is worth it or not. Maybe if somebody has an opinion on that, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, it'll be, and the offices will be approximately 30 by 60, the office area, conference room, etc. The building is going to be, it's going to be incredible. I'm really excited. It's going to be one of those things that during the whole process, and especially when it's done, I'm going to be like, how did this happen? But it's going to happen, and I'm super excited. Yeah, any questions you guys want to ask about it, I'm willing to share, but that's, I guess, where I'll leave it for now. But 60 by 150. It will also have a 20 by 30 covered, like a covered patio in the back. It'll have a it's like 30 feet wide, 20 feet deep, or 20 feet out, and it'll have a roof over it, can lights in it and stuff. And then we're going to build a patio underneath it, bigger than the 20 by 30, but it'll have a covered section of like that. And then I want to build like an outdoor kitchen out there and do training through that and be able to have company parties and hang out back there after work or whatever we do. I have a lot of really cool ideas for that space and with the future of the company and company, I don't know, whatever we want to do, I want it to be usable and I want it to be fun. And I have, dreams that I have thought about with this space and how to utilize it for everybody. So I'm excited. Mason W80, new here. When did you know you made it in business? First of all, thanks for being here, Mason. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that. I don't think I could say that I've made it, so to speak. I don't know. I don't know if anybody. Define what you mean by made it. I would say our business is established. When did I know it was established? It's a good question. I just made up the question, but I don't know. Maybe, you get past the beginning stages where all your friends and family are helping you or hiring you or recommending you, which I still have tons of that. And I'm so grateful for all my family. Seriously. I can't begin to tell you how thankful I am for my family for supporting not only my immediate family and, of course, my wife, kids, my mom, my dad, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, all my brothers and sisters, my brother and sister, my brother-in-law, laws and sister-in-laws, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents. Seriously, I've been blessed with a lot of wonderful family that have greatly helped in the beginning of our business. But moving past that, I've done a lot of work for people in our church, and that's been a blessing. And then, you move outside of that and you start working for people that, have connections one way or the other. And it doesn't, my business specifically, it's not a lot of cold calls. It's always somehow there's a relationship somehow. Literally. It's very rare that it's a cold call. They have found us in Google or whatever you want to say. It's very rare. There are some really good customers that we've had that have got our card from a vendor, and that's a good lead, but it's still pretty cold. They got a card from a vendor, and then the vendor said, "Hey, you should use these people. They're good." They don't have a relationship with someone else that has used us. So, but I have some wonderful customers that we've worked with in the past and still have worked with to this day, and that's how we got them. But I would say it took 5 or 6 years to feel like, okay, like this business is established. We're the ball is rolling forward. We have a lot of the things that we need. But I guess your, quote unquote, made it. I don't know. It depends, what I have found with like goals, like you reach a goal. Like I've set some pretty lofty goals in the business, in the years past. And we've been able to hit a lot of the goals that I've made. And this building, this property, this development that we're trying to do, this is a big goal, guys. Like this is a big deal. And we're going to do it. I can already see that it's going to happen. And it's going to be one of those things is like, now what? And that's what it's been like along the way. Like, I think, and we've talked about this. I think we've talked about this in another episode about that, but like, you're just, and goals are good. So don't hear me wrong here. I'm just saying, like, you can make a goal and like you keep working at it, you're going to hit it, but then you have to keep moving the goalpost, right? But I think it's important to be content too. So, I don't know. Again, kind of rambling here, but I don't know if I could tell you a definitive, we've made it kind of thing, because there's always struggles. There's always things that we should be doing better. Business is about the journey. I don't think it's about getting to a certain point, because the second you get to that certain point, all of a sudden there's another point you want to get to. And that's good. I mean, we are, I believe, I'm the type of person that likes to keep going and keep, what's the next thing? And, that's why sitting around is never good for anybody. That's why retirement can be super hard on people, because you do what you do, and then all of a sudden you stop and you're bored because you have nothing to do. You're not trying to reach any type of goal. And so I think you have more fulfillment out of life if you're continuing on and pushing towards the next thing you'd like to do to better yourself, better people around you, better your family, better your team. Those are all things that keep pushing you forward. Supremescapes, what's up, bud? Never ending growth pattern. There you go, dude. That's true. Aching Acres says big work produces big work. He was talking about earlier, when we were talking about how do you get into or was I nervous about getting bigger job, the courage to get bigger jobs? Yes, the bigger you that's exactly right, man. Calco Partners, can I have a job? I'm ready. Dude, just get in your car, drive on over. Let's go, dude. Honestly, if you came over, we probably could get into the concrete game. Did I take any sales class training? No. Top Rock Design Landscape. I have never taken any kind of formal sales training. Should I have? I don't know. I'm not. I would not say that I'm a good salesman. But the last time I said that, I was on Josh Gillow's podcast. What is that podcast called? Why can't I remember that? Oh man, I can't remember what it's called. I'm sure somebody will put it in the comments, but I had like it was a 4-part podcast that I did with him, 4 episodes. Again, Joshua Gillow, man, I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't remember that podcast, but it was really good. We talked about stuff on there, and I went into a lot of depth about how we run our business debt free. There we go. Sales Made Simple. I did a 4-episode podcast with him. We recorded for like 3 hours or something. It was awesome. I really enjoyed talking to him. He's a really, really good guy. But I was telling him that kind of my sales process and how I sell and how me running my company debt free, how I think it helps me in my sales, like how I carry myself in the sales meeting and that stuff. And I said, I'm really not a good salesman. And he goes, well, what did he say? He said something about, my cord is all wrapped up here. Something about, well, actually that makes you a very good salesman. Cause I talked about how I'm not pushy, and I kind of, I show the client what they want and what I've come up with. And if they'd like to buy it, that's great. If they don't, and it's fine too. And, anyways, that was a long story, but, we talked about that a little bit on there. So, if you haven't listened, go check it out. Sales Made Simple podcast. And, there's like a 3 or 4 episode series. They're not all in a row, so you got to find them, I think. But that shouldn't be too hard for you to do. How would you justify your prices in comparison to other landscape contractors in the same area who might cost less, but you offer better quality work? Well, that's a good question. I have found when I'm negotiating, if the jobs that we're doing, this may not be the answer you want, but whatever. If the jobs that we're doing or the customer that is wanting a number from us is trying to negotiate the price because somebody else came in cheaper. Number one, and I'm not saying you technically say this to the customer, but every business has different prices, different costs, different profit goals that they want to have within their business. They pay their team differently than we do. And at the end of the day, I'm not out there to compete on price. And so, Mrs. Jones, if you'd like to go, if you have another customer or another contractor that you'd like to go with, we're not the contractor for everybody, but I can assure you that our work is going to speak for itself. And we don't negotiate on price. If you'd like to talk about lowering the price, then we would need to talk about, changing the scope of work. And we can absolutely do that, right? To get you where you want to be. But, if you'd like to work with us, this is our price and this is what it needs to be at. And as a company policy, we don't negotiate on pricing. We know our pricing. We know that it's a good number and we know that it's the right number to be able to get your job done exactly how it's supposed to be done and in a timely manner and clean and professional and, exactly what I know you're going to want in the end of the day. So you have to be, I have just learned that not every customer is my customer. Not every customer is the one that is good for our company. And you can say things firmly. I think that's also something I found, like it's important to be confident in what you're saying and you can practice it or whatever, practice in front of the mirror or whatever. It's important to be confident in what you're saying and stick to your guns and don't, stumble over your words. Just be frank with them and be honest. And you may have customers that are not happy if you tell them that they are not a good fit for your company. Because at some point in that conversation, you may have to say, I don't think that this is a good fit for our company. And there's so much work out there. Like every time that I thought that the job that we were trying to get, wasn't going to work out or whatever, like every time down the road, it's like, well, I'm glad I didn't get that job because this job was over here and we were able to do this one. And if I would have taken the one that wanted me to be cheaper, I wouldn't have been able to do the one over here that was a better job and a better customer. So you have to decide what's right for you. But for our company and for what I do, I don't need every job and I don't want every job. I want the best customers that want to work with us and are willing to wait for us and are willing to pay for our quality and our work ethic and our finished product. And then we deliver on that because you have to deliver on that. You can, that only lasts like one or two times and then your reputation is done. So you have to keep delivering on what you're offering and what you're giving to the customer. And, that's a good question. And it is a hard thing. I know that. How to Hardscape. What up, dude? Thanks for watching. Yes. Sorry, I'm just reading here. I should say what I'm reading so I don't just leave you guys in the dark. Dave Ed 17. What CRM do you recommend? Well, look no further than Synced Up right here. Project management software. They have a CRM inside of that. And you could check that out. You could, I don't know, like what are I'm sure there's like specific, like only CRMs that people use. I don't know. I mean, anytime I've ever used a CRM, it's inside of an estimating software. So, but yeah, go check it out. Go check out syncedup.com, or send them a DM on Instagram or whatever. Nami, is it Nami or Nomi? Nami, I'm going to say it's Nomi Outdoor Adventures. Supremescapes, hold on, we're going to go back. CRM recommendations. Supremescape just said HubSpot, Go High Level, or Keep, Keep, Keap. Anyways, back up to Nomi Outdoor Adventures. How's the truck situation? Oh man, somebody asked about my truck. So if you don't know, my truck, I have a 2024 GMC 2500 AT4X, and it's awesome. But it's in the dealership right now and has been at the dealer for, let's see, how long has it been at the dealer? Last Thursday. Yeah, I brought it last Thursday. Yeah, Supremescape says talking is hard. Oh, yeah. So I was I brought it to the dealer because the battery kept dying. And that's the short answer of it. The battery just kept dying. Couldn't figure out why. It was very cold when it was dying, so I thought it was cold related. It wasn't. And it would just be dead every morning. So the truck's only got 25,000 miles on it, 26,000 maybe. Finally got an appointment every day for a week. I had to jump it every morning. Very frustrating. I love the truck. Everyone's like, you should sell it, get a Ford. Should have never sold your Ford. Or, that's why you should have got a Ram. Just whatever. I like the truck. Every truck's going to have problems. I don't care what brand of truck it is. You're going to have problems. And then everybody has an issue that's similar. Every time I have a truck issue and I put it on Instagram, the DMs flood in. Everybody loves to talk about trucks, for sure. Everybody does. And everybody has what their problem was and how they fixed it, and which is all fine. It's all good. But at the end of the day, I'm not working on that truck. My dealership is working on that truck because that truck is too advanced for me, nor do I care to even mess with it. So I brought it to the dealer. It's under warranty still. Brought it there. And they messed around with it. Friday? I'm trying to think, because has it been there longer? No, I think I brought it there last Thursday. Yeah. Friday, I got a text, I think, and said that they were still working on it. And they had put in a request to something with GM engineers because they had a parasitic drain on the battery. So anyways, today I got a text tonight that said that the truck is done, and they had to, what did it say? It said they had to reprogram the lighting module that was pulling too much juice off the battery. So they had to reprogram that, and they had to reprogram something else. And now which they must have found that Friday, because they said that it held a charge over the weekend. So they must have found that Friday, I guess. Maybe Thursday I got that first text, and then Friday they did whatever they did. And then they said over the weekend it was totally fine and it's all good. So they fixed anything that was wrong with it. There's no charge. My batteries are holding a charge. I want to call them and be like, hey, dude, like these batteries have gone dead like 7 times. Like, how about a new set of batteries? But we'll see. Whatever. Yeah, I should have got a Cybertruck. Dude, okay. when me and my wife and son were in California a couple months ago, we rented a Cybertruck while we were there, and it was awesome. I would not own one. Well, I probably would own one, but it definitely wouldn't be my only truck. It was awesome to drive. It looks ridiculous, but it was so fast, and the turning radius is insane. But man, it's ugly. If I did it, I would definitely have it wrapped black because they look super cool black, I think. But anyways, okay. Hillside Landscape Design says, have you ever used a rock hound attachment on a skid steer? And if so, is there a steep learning curve? I have never, ever used a rock hound attachment. A buddy of mine, Jeremy Swihart, has a rock hound. And I had never seen one in my life until I saw him use one. And they actually are awesome. They look awesome. I can't imagine they're that hard to use. I'm sure they're pretty easy. So Brextrade said, I'm going to be starting onboarding with LMN. Awesome, man. Good for you. Hope it goes well. So any onboarding in these estimating software, Synced Up, LMN, whatever other one, Aspire, whatever other ones you want to talk about, the onboarding is always a lot of work. It always is. And you have to be prepared for that. Eagle Creek Outdoor Living, what's going on? Thanks for being here tonight. Lance, just carry 4 batteries. Talking about my truck. Yeah, I should just carry extra truck batteries with me. Lance Briard says, would you get a Kubota 57 or a Kubota 80 excavator? It's a good question. The 57 is more versatile size-wise, I think. You can do a ton of work with the 57, like a ton of work. It's that excavator is so awesome. It's more well-balanced with the Encon than my 80 is. It's just an awesome excavator. It's strong. It has a lot of reach. It's still pretty skinny. It's almost zero tail swing. That is an awesome excavator. But I'm telling you, when you get in that 80 and you have, and I'm speaking of it within like how it works with the tilt rotator, because that's the only way you can gauge how awesome a excavator is how it is with a tilt rotator. It's awesome. Like the reach on the 80 is really awesome too. They're both great machines. They start in the cold every time. I've never even had close to a problem getting those excavators started in very cold weather. They're just good, simple machines, and they get the work done, and they run good. So, yeah, Anborn Stone says he's had several truck brands, and all the trucks have issues. 100%, man. C. Hendrick 103 says, any big equipment on your radar? No. Which every time I say that, I end up buying something, but no. Right next to the camera here is a man lift that we bought. That's not very big, but it was like $3,500. But it's cool and I like it. And Saturday I lifted it up all the way to the top, and I nearly had a heart attack how tall it was. It goes 19 feet, and I guess I'm getting older, but it was tall. Taller than I ever need to go, but that's going to be sweet in the new building when we have to like do something up high or whatever. Super excited about that. The other thing I'm looking for is a used forklift. I'd like to buy a used forklift sometime this summer for the new building. I want to have a forklift inside the building. And other than that, like, I don't really foresee, like, I don't have plans to buy anything big. I don't need to buy any trucks. If anything, I'm going to sell my Ford F-250 pickup that we have. I don't know. I was going to sell it last year. I never sold it. And then we ran it another winter this year. So every year it's like, no, this is the last year for it. We're going to sell it. We don't need it. You know, it really could move on from the fleet, but I keep it and we use it another year. So it's going to get driven almost none now because now we have the new shop truck, which is the one that I'm driving right now. So why do I need to keep this other pickup, this spare, quote unquote, spare truck? It's like a second spare truck. How many? I don't need that many. So I really need to sell that. And so I'm going to sell it. But frankly, anything that I want to buy, I'd rather spend the money on my building or my property right now. So that's going to be where my focus is this year. Yeah, there's lots more to come on that. So let's see here. Where is the white Bobcat Mini? I still have it. It's at my yard. We don't use it a ton. I have a Bobcat E20 excavator with an Encon on it, and it's a great little unit. 80 size machine requires a lot more considerations for transporting. 100% it does. I have a equipment moving company. They're an excavating company, but they move all my equipment for me. Not all of it, but most of the time I don't haul my equipment a ton. We haul the 57 every once in a while, but like if I have to haul 2 machines somewhere, I'll just call the equipment moving company. I just call them like a day or two before and say, hey, I need this and this moved over here. Here's the 2 addresses. It needs to be there in the morning on this day, and they just come and do it. They have their own keys for the equipment. They know where everything is. They know my gate code. They can come anytime, as early as they want, whatever. And it's sweet, dude. I don't have to do anything. And they chain it down. They bring it there. They park it. They lock it. And I just show up when we go to work there and the equipment's there. So I'm going to try and do that more and more this year, but we don't move every single day. So don't come at me about that. I get it, but it works out really good. And I have no reason to ever have to haul my 80. I just move. Every time I have to move it, it costs me like $400, like there and back. I think it's like maybe $500. It's all by the hour. It's like 120, 100 something an hour for the low boy. So whatever. It's awesome. It's cheaper than owning your own semi or big trailer, and the risk of hauling it down the road and the insurance and the license plates and all this stuff. But again, we don't move every day, so I get it. Supremescapes, look around, man. See what you could find for. So he says we have an E88 on the radar, so I need to figure out transporting possibilities. Dude, just find someone that can move it for you. You're not going to move that thing every day. There's no way. That's what I do, as I said, and it works out really good. So, C. Hendrick said, I've got an amazing 1959 Clark forklift painted red, white, and blue off of a Navy ship that would look fantastic in your collection. No way. Send me pics. I'd love to see it. That's awesome. I do. I need a forklift. So if anybody out there is wanting to get rid of a forklift, again, not in a big hurry, but I want a forklift that can lift, 5,000 pounds, and I want it to have the side shift or whatever it's called. That would be really handy. And propane. I don't want gasoline or diesel or whatever they are. I want it to be propane. So keep me, if anybody knows of anything, let me know. Johnston Construction. How soon do we see the work on the shop start? Well, you can go on my YouTube. I have 10 or 11 episodes on my YouTube so far. Most of it is just on the property. It's not the actual building. How soon? That's a great question. I don't know. If I were to guess, honestly, I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. I'm waiting, still waiting for final approvals from the county, which after this week, we should have everything we need to submit for our final approval. And then I'm waiting on some other numbers for some other things. And then I can pull the trigger.
This has been a Mulder Outdoors and Mr. Producer production.
So if the stars align and things all happen how I hope they will happen, and they cost what I hope they will cost, I would love to be in my building by winter. So whether that happens or not, it's cool that we're going to put that time stamp on this episode, because that's what I would love to see happen. And I would love to have the final episode of our podcasting season be inside of the building. So let's make that a goal, guys. So on that note, we're going to wrap this one up. And great first episode. always appreciate everyone that tunes in. And I'm looking forward to a great podcasting season with all of you. Big shout out to our sponsors, CMP, cmpattachments.com. Go check them out for any attachments you need of any kind. And Synced Up project management software. Thank you to them. And guys, we will catch you on the next one. Thanks.